What's up, you guys? Godzilla Fan Freaks coming at you today with another figure review. And today is of course, first review of the new year. Of course, I hope you all enjoyed my collection video that I did. But for now, let's get on to the first review of 2016. And it is none other than the Trendmasters 10-inch Gigan 1972, or Showa Gigan, or whatever you want to call it. A very peculiar figure. Very interesting take on Gigan as far as design goes. It is very much an artistic, design. It's not really accurate to, the movies or anything like that, but you can tell it is Gigan nonetheless. So let's get on to this figure. I picked up this figure at my comic book shop. Sadly, the electronics do not work with it at all. This is the one that had the sensors in them. So like his eye would light up, and I believe his mouth would light up too. I'm not too sure on that. But I know his red eye would light up and he'd, make noise and whatever. I did take off the battery pack and just inspect the inside of it. It seemed pretty clean, no type of, corrosion from the battery acid or anything like that from being in there for too long. But I guess, just being as old as the figure as it is, the electronics just eventually gave out, I guess. But I tried new batteries, I tried everything. Nothing worked, Flipped them on, flipped the on and off switch right here on the back several times, waved my hand in front of it, nothing worked. So sadly, I cannot show you the electronic feature of this guy. But nonetheless, let's get straight on into this figure review with paint job. Now, with it being Gigan, it's pretty accurate to paint job. I mean, you got kind of the greenish skin with some black shading here and there. The only thing that is off about him is, of course, this blue that's right in here, and of course his, horn and beak and claw parts and everything like that. They are actually just a bone ivory kind of color. They're just tannish, which really gives Gigan more of a natural feel instead of being like a cyborg, I guess. The only really part of the cyborg is really kind of his eye here. But overall, this is actually kind of a very natural, organic looking Gigan. I mean, even the buzzsaw takes that bone ivory kind of color. Nothing on this guy is silver metallic. Then, of course, you got the classic, gold scales. They kept that. And then, of course, his red eye up here, very nice translucent piece of plastic. And then, of course, a red tongue and, red inside the mouth and whatnot. Kind of hard to see in there. And then, of course, you have this very kind of sky baby blue around his, his shoulders here, his torso. And I have to watch Godzilla vs. Gigan again. I can't really remember what color, like, these parts actually were in the film. I believe they were almost the same color as his skin, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, of course, that's obviously off on color as well. But that's really only the 2 points that are off on color are all the, hooks and spikes, and then, of course, these parts here on his torso. And then, of course, you have his wings. His wings are not all gold. His wings are kind of a blackish greenish, just like his skin, with actually just a little bit of gold kind of in the webbing, more or less. So very nice paint there on the wings. Actually, it's very nicely applied. It actually looks really cool. And then, of course, the spikes on the tips of his wings are that same kind of bone ivory white. Tail, gold, kind of green underneath here. And then, of course, ivory, white for the spikes and whatnot. So that just about does it for paint job. As far as detail goes, again, this is a very artistic, stylized Gigan. And it almost looks really kind of extreme. I mean, the hooks on his hands, of course, are very more curved. And they're not as, they're not like that, more or less. They really go in at a curve to where they're almost like meat hook looking. Pretty scary, actually. His face, definitely captures, Gigan's look very nicely. Scales, very nicely done in detail. I mean, it's Trendmasters for as old as these figures are. I mean, of course, the Trendmasters line kind of did go a stylized version with all their Godzilla figures, which, that makes them kind of cool. And, sometimes, the Trendmasters figures are sought after by collectors. Not really me, I just have the ones from when I was a kid,
And then I picked up this guy at my local comic book shop last year. And, just because I walked in there and they never really have any Godzilla stuff, and I just saw this guy sitting on the shelf, and I just thought, oh, what the hell, I'll bring him home with me. So just very nice, just skin detail. Skin, he's got kind of a scaly look, kind of like the Godzilla figure of Trendmasters and everything like that. You can kind of really see some skin detail in there. Very nicely well done. Buzzsaw, again, the buzzsaw, the detail, it's not really cybernetic razor looking. It's more or less, they almost look like just like teeth almost. They don't even look like a buzzsaw. They just look like teeth. Pretty crazy. But and then of course you got his feet down here. That really looks like Gigan. If these were silver, I'm sure you could probably pass that as a Gigan foot, which it still is. It's just not painted silver. But detail, very nice. Very fine detailing here in the wings actually that I want to point out. Very nice. You can see some of the waves and some of the pattern in there. Very, very nicely well done. Overall, detail on this guy, it's basic. It's a 10-inch Trendmasters figure. Nothing too crazy about it. Too bad the electronics don't work in it anymore, but I just bought this guy because it was kind of a reminder of my childhood. I did have the smaller Trendmasters Gigan when I was a kid, but that is lost beyond the point of no return. I don't know where that thing went. Just probably got lost somewhere. But so this guy is a very nice, kind of upgrade replacement. It looks exactly like the smaller one. And it does remind me a lot of my childhood for sure. So that's one reason I picked this guy up, just to remember those good old childhood days that I had with my smaller Trendmasters guy again. But anyway, and to get on to like scaling and stuff like that, of course he's not going to scale in with anything 6-inch. So I got a couple 8-inch Bandai figures here, and of course this Gigan is supposed to be in the 10-inch. And I think this is the Bandai GMK, and this guy's 8 inches, I believe, but they're almost the same height. Gigan, he's kind of like at a hunch. So, I mean, I guess if he was more straight up, it would be 10 inches, but they're almost the same height. So, I mean, he'll probably scale in well with anything that's kind of like in the 8-inch, area, I want to say, of Godzilla figures. Here's the Tokyo SOS Godzilla. So, yeah, like anything that, I mean, maybe like the body size, his dimensions and everything is probably way off. But for height-wise, he scales in well with, the Bandai, Godzillas that are kind of in the 8-inch scale, I want to say. So pretty good scaling with Bandai 8-inch figures. Anything below that? Not at all, unless you really want Gigan to be a giant. But, last thing I'll go over is something I don't go over a whole lot, and I almost forgot about it. Articulation. So articulation, you got a head that can, turns 360, but you can get them to look left and right. You got the arms that can move 360, so you can, get some arm action there. Legs that could probably go 360, but you can get them forward and backward like so. Tail, it's kind of hindered from the wings, but you can get the tail to turn there. That sounded like it snapped, didn't it? It didn't. That's just how old and stiff this figure is. It's practically brand new. Like I said, there was no battery corrosion or anything at all. There's just a few scuff marks here and there, as you can see. Other than that, it was really in decent condition. I just got to get him standing right again. There we go. So anyway, you guys, that is my review on the 10-inch Trendmasters Showa Gigan. First review of the new year. Hopefully I'm not rusty, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Like always, we are Godzilla fan freaks. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you guys in the next video review. Thank you for watching.